Heyo everybody, Haku here with HaQ&A number 75. Damn, pretty far into the HaQ&A well here. But yeah, I always have so much fun doing these, and I hope you have fun getting to be involved in stuff too, I guess. But either way, got caught up on comments right before this. There was one that I haven't really answered yet that I was like, if I do answer it, would it make it in here or not? I try to put in every comment I possibly can that wouldn't just be going over and repeating myself, or that is like a discussion or question type comment. So I wasn't really sure whether I'd put that one in or not, and it was kind of long, and I was in kind of a rush doing this after I had to do stuff outside of YouTube earlier. So I was like, you know what, I'll get to that comment later on, but I don't know if it'll be in the Q&A anyway. So sorry if that was yours that I haven't answered yet. But either way, let's discuss things. We have some stuff to discuss for the general section that I think a lot of you will be interested in. Short Book No Hero Academia, then decently sized One Piece, and really decently sized Elf Sama Yasuraranai section, which I am very, very excited for. And then a massive Tower of God section, of course, because Tower of God is always the longest section. I thought it was, well, not always, but most of the time. I thought I was actually going to have a longer Elfson section this time around, but no. There were some comments on the review yesterday for Tower of God that I was like, okay, I got to put these in here. But either way, let's start talking. First, some stuff to do, I guess, with the, well, let me think here. There's some plan changes for the general section where I'm just going to be talking to you. There are a lot of comments here. Not really a lot, but a lot of stuff to discuss from comments. But first, some updates. There's definitely stuff that I always like post in Discord and on Twitter to try to keep you updated, but I'm trying to think if there's anything big that while I'm here I should remember to tell you. I guess mostly that for the 2 anime videos I said I was planning on, instead of doing the first thoughts this season, because we're already like near halfway into the season, I'm just going to skip that, and I'm going to give my first thoughts in this video a little bit later on. You'll see how it goes. But I will do a video discussing all of my Winter 18 things I watched as soon as I finish watching them all. And again, we'll talk about that later. And after this season, I'll do that for this season, and I'll do a first thoughts in the first week or two of next season. And I think I'll make those videos, since we don't do like the monthly updates or anything anymore, maybe I'll do those at the beginning of each season / end of each season, where I'll do a video discussing all the stuff I watched and how good it was, and then a first thoughts a couple weeks after that. So yeah, either way, let's get into some of the comments and stuff. Per request, I will now be reading The Promised Neverland on Manga Stream from now on. Thanks to Aaron Santos for telling me to do that, and thank you for enjoying the video on it and everything. So Promised Neverland read-through will be read through from Manga Stream now. I didn't know that they that they kept their chapters up there after a few weeks. I thought they deleted them after a few weeks like they do with One Piece. So that's where I'll be reading that. Also, thank you to everyone watching the Beastars read-through too. I've got good comments on that saying that you were excited for it, so thank you so much. Next up, Seek210 said, I also can't wait for the read-throughs of Magical Girl Raising Project. Okay, first important thing here. The read-throughs of Magical Girl Raising Project will be every Tuesday, starting from whenever I can do the character design reaction, which means I need the character pages untranslated, and as of yet have been unable to acquire them, and went to try to search for them myself, but kept seeing that it was in English and kept cutting away before I could read so that I wouldn't spoil myself. So I will do that video, not even necessarily on a Tuesday. Whenever I can get those, I will do that reaction so that we can get straight into Limited as soon as possible. So I will put that out there for anybody. If any of you can get me the raw, untranslated, Limited character pages for me to do that reaction video to, just get them to me, and contact me anywhere like Twitter, Discord, here in the comments. Get them to me, and I will do the reaction video on that post-haste. I don't know if I used that term correctly. Yeah, that's the situation with that. And Seek210 also said, what do you think of the spring anime season so far? And I was originally going to going to do a video, like my first thoughts and stuff. But like I said, we're a bit in, so a bit of a ways in there. So either way, I have my list of things I'm watching here, because what I learned after struggling to keep up with which episode I'm on for like a bunch of shows each season. I think about 2 seasons ago I was like, why don't I just write down the shows I'm watching, and then every time I watch an episode I'll put a tally mark beside them so that I can remember which episode I'm on. And that's helped a bunch. But last season, out of the 18 shows I decided to watch, I believe it was 18, I've watched 14, and that video for winter will be up as soon as I finish the other 4, and the other 4 that I haven't quite finished yet are Miura no Kaikata, Violet Evergarden, Toji no Miko's first core, and Beatless's first core. Need to catch up on Beatless and Toji no Miko. Miura no Kaikata I need to finish, pretty close to finishing. Violet Evergarden I'm about halfway through, because Violet Evergarden it's this weird kind of anime where it's really good, I guess. It's not the best, but it's really good. But at the same time, every episode's really heavy. So it's difficult to watch. And that sounds a bit insulting, but it's difficult to watch. It's not like one of those shows where I'm like super pumped and hyped and excited to watch it every week. It's a show where I'm like, oh god, I gotta prepare myself for this, because it's heavy and often sad. So yeah, that's kind of why I haven't made it all the way through that, because it takes a lot to watch an episode of it, really. But yeah, let's talk about this season, all the 18 shows that I'm watching, and my first thoughts on them. Let's talk about it here, and I'll tell you how many episodes I'm in so far. And for most of them, it's not many, because I haven't had much time to watch anime for the past few weeks, but I'm trying to catch up to them all, so that I can watch some older stuff, like ReZero. I want to rewatch through Rurouni Kenshin, stuff like that I haven't ever watched before, that I want to rewatch. Some older stuff, so I'd like to catch up to this stuff so I can check out some older shows. But either way, what I'm currently watching, Boku no Hero Academia 3. 4 episodes are out so far. Watched all 4. It is brilliant. The best thing, I'll just start with it because it's the best thing this season by far. No other anime is even anywhere close. It's not even a contest. It's amazing. Probably one of the better anime, I would argue, that's ever been made. Because going back and watching again and again, the first and second seasons, I've watched them both multiple times by now through watching other people's reactions and reviews of them, which kind of basically counts because I've seen so many at this point. I've seen every scene like 1,000 times. It's so much better than basically anything else. I would still argue Little Witch Academia is probably my favorite still, and it's still incredibly good. But in terms of quality, it's hard for me to argue that anything might be better than Boku no Hero Academia, and Season 3 is amazing so far. Next up, Uma Musume Pretty Derby. I'm 2 episodes in. It's pretty good. I'm honestly, like, I thought I would be totally addicted to it and be like, Horse Girls, yes, all day, every day. But right now I'm just like, okay, this is a nice little anime. I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. But it's not like a crazy good series that I'm totally hooked on. At least not right now. The next is Shanping Jiaten, or Jiken Hin Kazoku in Japanese, or Creature's Family Days in English. It has a bunch of different titles. But it's really good. I absolutely love it. It's just a nice, heartwarming family story. So I'm really happy with that one. And 3 episodes in. I'm pretty sure there's only 3 episodes out. Tachibana-kan Triangle, 5 episodes out. I've watched all 5 because it's easy. They're only like 3 minutes long. Honestly, it's not very good, but it's just a fun little short series. They're only 3 minutes. Even if it's not very good, it's just a fun little thing to watch. Golden Kamuy, 1 episode in. I absolutely loved the first episode. But usually the few times I can sort of make to watch an episode of anime is when I'm eating, and judging from a little bit of it wasn't super gory, but a little bit of the bloody or gory things from the first episode, that stuff doesn't usually bother me, but I don't know how much more bloody or gory it might get in the future, and I don't know if I really want to watch that while eating all the time. It doesn't sound that appetizing, so that's why I'm only 1 episode in, even though it was great. Last period, Awaranaki Rasen no Monogatari. I've just been calling it last period. 4 episodes out, I'm all 4 in. It is so good. I absolutely love last period. That's a show for me that's sort of like the opposite of Violet Evergarden, where I guess technically you can argue it's not all that great. Sure, it's just a comedy, but that's the way it's supposed to be. But it is so fun. Every time a new episode comes out, I just really want to watch it. So it's really good. Next up, Doreiku the animation. Also Wise Man, best thing ever. Doreiku the animation. It's got a really good setup, I think, but it's kind of like a Junie Tyson level thing, where it's a good series, not great, but really good. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Kakegurui, only again, not quite as good. But it's good so far. I'm 2 episodes in. Caligula, 2 episodes into. I am really loving Caligula. I'm really excited for the future of what the series holds. A lot of things are still a mystery to me at this point. Cutie Honey Universe, 1 episode in. Cutie Honey Universe is an acid trip. It is like, if you want to watch like all the craziness of like 60s, 70s era anime, all the weird, just, yeah, very weird things, but with high detail modern animation. Like, I'm talking like this is way better animation than it has any right to be. It is way better in general than it has any right to be. So yeah, Cutie Honey Universe is just mindfuck, just an acid trip, but it's like a really high quality acid trip. So it's a very strange one, just 1 episode in. Hinamatsuri, I watched the first episode. I loved the first episode, absolutely loved it, but I haven't got around to the second yet. And that's the same case for Hisune Tomasatan, where I absolutely love the first episode. It's like everything you want in an anime, everything an anime should be, but I haven't gotten around to the second episode yet because I haven't had time. Jushinki Pandora, when I ate breakfast this morning, I actually watched the first episode of this. It wasn't great. It was okay. It's not bad enough to drop, but it's not good enough to watch for anything besides the Princess's Jubblies. So yeah, that's kind of where I am with that. Gegege no Kitaro, I'm 3 episodes in, and I guess it's not some people's cup of tea, but I absolutely love Gegege no Kitaro so far. I think it's been around like 5 times before, and this is the 6th time that it's been animated. And the first time it was animated was way back in the 60s. But I'm having a lot of fun with the series. I really like it. Big Mana is a big mood top waifu. And Neko Musume is also quite a high quality waifu. I keep seeing a lot of not safe for work fan art of her. But Gegege no Kitaro is really fun. Next, my heart. This, other than Boku no Hero Academia, this and Last Period might be fighting for anime of the season with me. Latent Mystery Tanteisha, Katri no Nazatoki File. It is meant to be a kids anime, or supposed to be a kids anime, I think. It has the kids tag, but it already has more death and alcohol than I've seen in a lot of very adult anime. So it is what it is. But it is so good. It is so fun. Every time Catriel just starts yelling, the voice acting is so good when she's just yelling about a case and stuff. I laugh so much and get so into it. I love it. And Catriel is a top waifu of the season, probably. But man, yeah, Latent Mystery Tanteisha is so much fun. I would say definitely give it a chance and see if it's something you would like, because I have had so much fun watching it. And then next up, I'm 2 episodes in for Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online. I actually really enjoy it so far, and that's what I said to one of your comments asking me what I thought of it so far. I was like, I didn't put that one in the HaQ&A because I'm going to talk about it here. I was like, well, I really enjoy it, so it's already 1,000 times better than Sword Art Online by that measure. But it kind of proves to me that even with kind of a crappy series that Sword Art Online was, if you put that universe, and it's kind of a generic seen it a million times universe, but if you put that in the hands of a good writer, and the person who's writing Gun Gale Online, or who wrote it, is very good, you put it in their hands and they can tell a good story with it. So I'm liking it a lot so far. And I think, oh yeah, that's it. That because I'm also going to be watching Soreto Tsumibito wa Ryu to Otaru Dances with the Dragons, but it has gotten... I usually don't put too much stock into reviews. I'm like, it's fun to watch them, or read them, but you gotta make your own opinions. But I've seen a lot of low scores for this anime, so it's been kind of hard to get the gumption up to watch episode 1. And then of course there's Toji no Miko's second core and Beatless's second core, and I need to finish the first core. So that's it for my thoughts on all the winter anime. I thought it'd be good to throw that in here if I wasn't going to make my own video on it or something. This is kind of like a bonus video within the video. And next up we still have another general comment. Shadow Lugia, or Lugia. I always pronounced it Lugia. Yeah, I always pronounced it Lugia. But now that I'm thinking about it, is it Lugia? Huh. Shadow Lugia 18011. I think the editing in your Magical Girl Raising video was well done. A title card would accomplish the same task. I'd definitely try it. As far as manga versus anime first, in my opinion, it's best to read the manga first. That way when you watch the anime you can comment on what was added or changed, the animation quality, voice acting, etc. I'd love it if you reviewed more lined webtoon series. Gosu is a very high quality, and I really think you'd like it. Okay. So, into all of that, because you said that, I'm thinking for those anime videos, which is what you were talking about, I will just do the title card, because that seems easier to me than putting a picture up there the whole time I'm talking about it. So at least for those videos, that's the way I think I'll do that, so you know what I'm talking about, but I don't have to put it on screen the whole time, because that's a lot more editing. So, that's basically why. For the read-throughs then, for stuff that you guys have suggested I do for read-throughs that already has an anime, I won't watch the anime until I start the read-through, so that you can see my first reactions there like that. So yeah, also for the weekly read-throughs, it's going to be whatever I feel like reading, so I'd say more webtoons are pretty much guaranteed at this point, or at some point. I'll get to some of them eventually, I'm sure. Right now I'm really hyped for The Promised Neverland and for Beastars, so I don't know when I'll add something new into the mix for read-throughs, but I'll get to them eventually. And bringing up Gosu, I didn't put this in my response to you, but bringing up Gosu, there's this one account that, I don't know who they are, but they go to like all of the, all of these anime and manga YouTubers and stuff and just spam them with Read Gosu comments. And I've seen it a bunch, and it has happened to me where I've got them. And there is, I think, probably no bigger way to make somebody not want to do something than to spam them telling them to do it. Like, having spam telling me to read Gosu makes me want to read it like nothing else ever will. But no, I know that a lot of you that read Tower of God probably like Gosu too, so I will get to it eventually. It's because I'm not one to get butthurt and salty over stuff like that quick. But I will say that if something like that happens, if you ever want me to get to something, it's cool to give me requests, obviously, and give me corrections if I mess up anything. But if you want to give requests. Then remind me if I don't get to them and you're like, hey, did you forget I give you this request? I know, like, if I said I'll get to it eventually and you're like, okay, a couple months down the line, hey, do you remember this? Do you want to get to it eventually? And I'll check in with you and stuff. Oh, that's fine. That's totally cool. What I mean by spam is like every single video just do Read Gosu and nothing else. That kind of thing. Don't do that to people, because if you actually want them to read it, it's not going to get you, it's like not going to get you what you want. They're going to be less likely to read it because it's just going to annoy them. So yeah, that was just a slight bit of advice, I guess. But either way, we got 4 sections to talk about, although the Boku no Hero Academia one's kind of small. Let's get into those. Alright, first up, Boku no Hero Academia. Like I said, really small, only one comment. ML said, or I think that's an L. It might be an I? I think it's an L. The font is weird for some reason. ML said, at the cost of another smile. Midoriya picked up Brava's camera and her laptop is still in the forest. I wonder if that will lead to somewhere. I didn't notice that, so thank you for pointing it out. So I hope that does lead somewhere cool. Like, I don't know what could happen. Maybe he films using Brava's camera so that they can upload UA having fun and their dance and all to the world and put that out there or something. or maybe it's just a connection between Izuku and La Brava so that she can help him out later on. I don't know. I don't know where it'll lead or what'll happen with it. Or maybe if Izuku took her laptop, possibly. I know you said they took the camera and the laptop's still there, but maybe if Izuku was able to take the laptop, that's sort of his way of covering for her and Gentle, so that the police or the heroes don't get her laptop and see all the crimes she's committed. So that might be Izuku's way of covering for her and honoring Gentle's wishes. So that could be something cool too, but either way, I'm excited for that. Because Horikoshi always puts small details in all kinds of things in Boku no Hero Academia that you think don't really mean anything. They're just little background details, and then they actually turn out to be really strong foreshadowing and actually important for later. But yeah, either way, that's it for the Boku no Hero Academia section this time around. Next up we have One Piece, and Seek210 said, I think the whole Fifth Emperor name is more about Morgan's embellishing the events in Whole Cake, which in a way a couple of chapters ago he was already favoring him, like seeing Kobe and Helmeppo again, and also how he fanboyed at seeing Luffy's feats in the newspaper with Rebecca asking him if he was a fan of his. The Bounties reactions were pretty funny too. Oh, Brook, Nami, and Carrot also got new bounties. Well, for Carrot it'll be the first one. I would also mention that big power-up for Nami and Sanji with the suit, though for now we won't use it. Yeah, for me, I think with the Fifth Emperor stuff, I thought it was a little bit soon, but going with the actual definition of why they called them the Yonko, and I guess they're the Goko now, the whole Fifth Emperor thing, the definition of the Emperor makes sense because technically you can argue Luffy's already got multiple territories. Fishman Island, Dressrosa's a little bit questionable, Zoe. Also, I do really hope the others get updated bounties, like all of them, like we saw with Dressrosa, because even the ones that weren't involved got an updated bounties. It'd be kind of unfair for everyone to not get an updated bounty this time. Especially if Luffy went up by 1 billion, you would think all of his crew members, just by being associated with him, would at least have a little bit of a jump if he's gone up by 1 billion. And I saw a lot of people arguing why they wouldn't have one by being like, well, they just went after Big Mom. Last time they were involved with stuff where the Navy was there, and it was a warlord, but this time they're just going after a Yonko, so why would that make their bounties jump up that much? But Luffy was just going after a Yonko, and it jumped up by a freaking billion. And that's not the only reason why, but that was like a big trigger for it. So I think that they should all get updated bounties, and I think we should get to see them. But especially for me, I think that Jinbei and Carrot are the biggest two, because Jinbei is credited in that newspaper as betraying Big Mom to help in this plot, and joining up with a rising emperor to join his crew. So by that logic, Jinbei's should jump up quite a bit. And Carrot is an unknown fighter, never had a bounty before that we know of, and it wouldn't make sense for her to ever have one. So she's an unknown member that came out of nowhere who was strong enough to take down multiple members of a Yonko's crew. And she's aligned herself with this new rising emperor. So I think it wouldn't make any sense for Carrot to not get a bounty, especially kind of a large one even, from what would have been seen in Whole Cake. And I actually hope if Carrot does get a bounty, that will pretty much cement her as a Straw Hat after this, because she's not going to be able to just go back and live a normal life. She has a bounty now. She kind of probably can since it's Zoe, but still, I would really like Carrot to join up as the next Straw Hat. And also, I do like that Nami and Sanji both have potential future power-ups. Zeus is like a future power-up for Nami, and the suit's like a future power-up for Sanji. So I do like that. And Seek210 said about the anime, the episode was okay. I thought they slowed down things a bit more. I liked the Sanji kick and the comedy bits, but the rest wasn't that good. And I totally agree. It had a few good parts, but a lot of the episode wasn't very good. It was really, really slow and dragged out to the point where it felt like nothing was happening a lot of the time. I'd be watching and I'd be like, when is something going to happen? So, yeah, the anime wasn't very good this week. It was alright at best. Except for that one shot of Sanji kicking, which was like crazy well animated. I don't really understand that. But that's it for the One Piece section this time. Next up, we have an Elf-san wa Yasararanai section, and I'm so excited about this. I love talking about this series. This is like one of my favorite manga ever. Seek210 says, each chapter keeps getting better and better, and Oga was pretty cool and kind of cute when she was pouting in the corner since no one wanted to spar with her. The Cyclops was kind of cool and can't wait to see who the elf is that came to this world. Oga is an ultra best girl. I love every little nuance that Synecdoche adds to her character. The way she wants to be a mom. She's an alcoholic, which definitely isn't my thing, but she's just so cute and her face is like the prettiest thing ever. I have a mega fictional character crush on Oga. Oga is a mega wife. I like the new Cyclops character too, even though Cyclopses aren't really my thing physically. I do hope she develops more personality though, to set her apart from the other characters and make her more unique, because we didn't really get to see a lot of that in this first chapter. So I hope she does get some more development. And I really like these comments. Shadowlugia Shadowlugia 18011 says, it takes courage to upload a video of yourself loudly announcing you're into pervy anime. It's not really my thing, but you do you, dude. I'll get to this one first. First off, it's not really that big a deal. It's like saying, hey, I'm into basketball. So are millions of other people. And if you have been on the internet for any amount of time, there is a lot of shit way, way weirder, way more taboo that people just treat as normal. And it's something that doesn't really hurt anybody too, I guess. And so I'm cool with whatever. There's a lot worse things. And also a lot of things that are actually more important, really. But yeah, either way. Getting into the rest of it though, after reading the chapter for myself, I can say that there's definitely a lot more to the manga than an excuse to look at sweaty anime girls. I felt genuine sympathy for Oga. She watches the others go before her and is forced to sit out when her turn comes along, though I understand why they wouldn't get in the ring. And the focus of the manga seems more geared toward the development of the characters rather than the aforementioned perviness. 6 out of 10 worth reading. Please, I want to be the gospel of Elf-san. I want to go out and preach and spread the word. All of you people need to go read Elf-san. Everybody watching this, for some reason, if you're watching this section but haven't actually read the manga, go read Elf-san. It is so, so good. It is so fun. So yeah, I think that... man, it's quickly become a contender for my favorite manga in just 17 chapters. The comedy, the art, the characters are all very, very fun and very good. And if I'm speaking, I guess, to Shadowlugia mostly here, just from this chapter, you've kind of seen what most of the chapters are like. Where most of the chapters of the series, we get a new character introduced. I don't know if that's most, but I think it's over half. We get a new character introduced. We have Naue and Erufuda there. And we have anywhere from 1 to 3, sometimes a little bit more, anywhere from 1 to 3 of the old characters coming back and recurring and getting more time and more development. So I really, really like that setup in general. And of course, the little bit less than half the chapters, it's not a new character introduced and just focusing on existing characters. So I really love it. I love the setup here. And I want to spread the word of Elf-san. So all of you watching, go spread the word of Elf-san as well. And then lastly for the section, Nikos says, I can't decide who's the cutest one, Oga or Raika. That is super, super difficult. I know that feel because to me, I think it's between Oga and Erufuda. Oga, this chapter, might have pushed her above Erufuda. I don't know. It's so difficult to decide. But it's between them. And then some chapters I'm like, oh, how is Kuroeda not best girl? And then some I'm like, how is Raika goodest girl? How is Raika not best girl? So between those 4, it's so difficult to pick one that stands out every time. Because they're all 4 so good. And even I like Mero a lot. We've only seen Honeda once, but I like her. I like Gonda, who was just introduced. They're all like, Kusahana does great too. every girl in the series is amazing. Oku's really growing on me, even though we haven't seen her too much. The only one that hasn't really grown on me is Hobie, because we've only seen her once, and that one time she was just kind of alright. And we just learned about Hitome, so I don't know how to feel about her yet. She is the thickest, I believe, girl we have seen in the series. She's up there with Oku. Between her and Oku, one of them has got to be the thickest. I'm just not that into Cyclopes? Cyclopses? Cyclopes? I know the plural of Cyclops is spelled Cyclops, but I'm not sure how that's pronounced, actually, the plural of Cyclops. Is it just Cyclops, just spelled differently, and it's still pronounced Cyclops? Or is it Cyclopes? No clue. But yeah, either way, that aside, that's the end of the Osama Yasura section. Please go watch, or read, and watch my videos on it. Lastly, we have the Tower of God section, which is the longest, as always. That's normal fare here for Tower of God. Let me take a look at it real quick before I get into reading. Okay, so let's start, and we'll get into reading the questions, and then struggling through answering them. But either way, Renan, starting out, says, I thought Zahard would start the battle playing with Bomb, but he's already attacking hard. He kind of did start playing around. I mean, he stepped it up and got kind of serious, but he's not totally serious. He's still kind of playing around. Bomb is just really struggling with him still, which I think is personally great, but we'll get into that more with later comments. Akash Panda said, Veal's inside Bomb. I called it, but again, I thought Veal would stop the Blue Demon from manipulating Bomb, so I was wrong. They seem to be buddies now. So now that Bomb has decided to take enough power from the Blue Demon to rule the world, does that mean he's going to turn out like Zahard? I highly doubt it. I think that Bomb's story that we've seen with Tower of God so far, his story is about whatever fate he's being assigned, he defies it and he makes his own path. He follows his own path. And that's what all the characters that have been guiding him and mentoring him have kept saying, you know, guide, make your own path, whatever. But like, from the very beginning, Volume 1, Andrasi and everyone's confronting him with the fate. They're like, you have to step on others to get up the tower. You have to be the big fish that swallows the small fish to get up the tower. And Bomb defied that fate by, as he's climbing the tower, he's bringing up as many allies with him as possible. He's lifting people up rather than pushing them down and using them as stepping stones. He was meant by FUG to be a weapon. That was his fate, to be their weapon, their slayer, and he escaped with his friends and took the thorn with him, didn't become an ignition weapon. So again, he escaped that fate, and he's probably going to keep doing that as he comes to these challenges where they're like, okay, you're trapped into doing this, you have to do this. He's going to do something else instead. He was sent to destroy Kaiser or whatever, but instead he saves Kaiser, kind of. It's kind of a little bit of a gray line there. But yeah, and the way that Zahard is different, for as much as we keep talking about how Zahard conquered the tower and all that, but the tower also kind of conquered Zahard. Zahard came in a good person from all we can tell, and somewhere along the way he was like, well, gotta step on people to climb up. Well, gotta sort of constrain people and become a despot over them in order to do what I've got to do, in order to be the king, in order to follow my destiny. So as much as he conquered the tower, the tower conquered Zahard. And even then, like you mentioned, Veal, it's like Veal's advice even, where Bomb just needs to be himself. So I don't think that Bomb's going to turn out like Zahard, because the whole story for him is that he gets put in these different fate chosen one situations, and he decides, I'm not going to do it the way you want it, I'm going to make my own path. That's the way the story seems to be. Shadowlugia18011 says, last chapter was build up and this chapter was payoff. I absolutely loved the encounter with Zahard. I'm so happy that Zahard is this much stronger than Bomb. It makes me feel like Bomb still has a ways to go before he can compete with the family leaders. I still haven't seen anyone mention it as of yet, but does anyone think we got a hint towards Bomb's sobriquet this chapter, with the blue demon asking him if he was some sort of blue whale? I don't think any rankers have this as their sobriquet, and I feel as though it would fit Bomb's character well. Okay, I love this chapter too. I love that, like you said, Bomb is still outmatched by Zahard. I really, really like that, because the enjoyment of this type of series for me is when the protagonist is struggling, when they don't have everything handed to them, when they're outmatched, but they overcome the stronger force, the corrupt force above them. Also, Blue Whale would be great, but Black Turtle would also be hilarious. Black Turtle would be a great Super Cat. But Blue Whale, that would actually be kind of cool, because we would have a hint all the way back here, and it kind of fits him. So I think Blue Whale would actually be kind of cool. Because I hadn't thought about sobriquets for the members of Bomb's party yet. But either way, Seek210 says, it was a pretty good chapter and a good start to the fight between Bomb and Zahard, both of them showing some of their powers. I found it interesting how the blue demon inside Bomb told him, why does he keep bringing stuff inside himself? But it also helps him find more motives to do things for himself and not just do it for everyone. I wonder what Urick's goal is by destroying the mirror. I kind of think we talked about the other stuff, but the goal of Urick, I wanted to throw that in here because I can't think of any goal personally except to somehow escape. I don't know how that would even work, how they could escape. Since they don't have a physical body, maybe their data would become a physical body. We'll have to wait and see what CU does, because with the logic of Tower of God, basically anything's possible, so we don't really have enough information to know how that would work. So yeah, that's at least my guess of what it might be, though. And now, here is a very lengthy discussion to have. Coolfu270 said, I'd say Bomb's destiny will be becoming a god, because this is Tower of God. Viol's advice echoed with Urick's advice. I don't think that Zahard's the final boss. I think the series will go beyond killing Zahard, and when Bomb reaches the real top of the tower, I hope there will be a season after Bomb's trio become rankers. I honestly don't think Bomb will fight Zahard immediately when he reaches the 134th floor. Maybe a time skip after 134th floor and they all become powerful rankers when they come back. I stopped reading Tower of God last week. I'm saving until the fighting has stopped, but I'll still watch your content. How long do you think the fight will last? I'd say 5 to 6 episodes. Okay, start from the beginning. I think that Bomb, like I said, his story is the story of a slayer, and I think he'll fight against that and make his own path. But I don't think Zahard will necessarily be the final boss, but I think he'll be one of the final bosses. One of the last big enemies Bomb faces, and one of the biggest enemies Bomb faces. I think that for the actual final enemy antagonist for Bomb, it might be somebody like Rachel, or the Tower's God maybe, or maybe somebody we haven't even met yet. And I think that arcs, the way I think it's going towards the ending, arcs a long time from now, I've said this before, will start to focus more and more on collecting the different pieces of the key, the rings, the 13 months, and eventually someone will, I was thinking Bomb's group will eventually collect them, open up the floor, and then push on past everybody else, and everybody else is going to have to try to go and keep up with them. But what I'm thinking actually now is, for the good guys to do it, that'd be kind of dumb. So what if Bomb's group and the good guys lose all of the pieces? What if Zahard's Empire is the one that collects all of them together? Or what if it's even Walhaik or FUG more likely? So I think that some group is going to collect all the key parts, and they're going to open that gate. So once that gate opens, everybody's going to have to be... We're going to see Zahard and all of the 10 families probably start trying to climb. All the rankers from before are probably going to start trying to climb again, because now that that gate is opened, whoever makes it to the highest floor the fastest is basically new king, kind of. So we're going to have all these groups fighting to be the first one to make it up these uncharted floors. And I think that somewhere along the way there is where Bomb will probably fight Zahard, because Bomb and Zahard will then become kind of like rivals. And we know that the whole reason that Zahard has been hibernating is so that he can climb the tower again when he's done. So it makes sense to me that if that's the reason, we're going to get to see Zahard climbing the tower again at some point. So I think that's probably the way that it's going to go. So I think they'll fight higher up as they're trying to get to the top, but I'm not sure if he'll be the exact last boss. And for this fight, I think it's going to be at least 3 or 4 chapters, because we'll probably cut away at different points in each chapter to what Yurik's group is doing. We'll probably get some flashbacks for different characters, mostly Bomb and Zahard here and there, because that usually happens during fights. So I think that's the way it's gonna go, and for how it will end, I think that this fight probably... I don't know if it'll have a real winner. I want to say it probably won't have a real winner. I think it'll be interrupted by something. That's the way I see it going. But they responded to that. That's a great idea, so much better than mine. I thought the storyline would be more like Bomb's trio becomes rankers, then the time skip, then Kun secures his place in the Kun family, Rat gets whatever he wanted, Bomb becomes a super OP high ranker, and then they challenge Zahard and climb higher to the rest of the tower and get out of the tower. I wonder if there's any individual tests, like the floor test, not a special test. If not, then all rankers must have connections with other rankers, because all members of a team would become rankers together. And I want to know how the teammates of Yuhan Sung or if Yuri Zahard reached the floor 10,000 years ago. They're roughly... of Yuan Sung or Yuri. Sorry, that comma was misplaced. That messed me up. If Zahard reached the 130 floor 10,000 years ago and there are roughly 1,000 high rankers, meaning 100,000 rankers, that means about 10 new rankers a year. And I like that you broke that down, because it seems like, oh my gosh, 100,000, that's way too many. But 10 a year makes it sound a lot more believable. So 10 new rankers a year. The number's quite small considering Zahard climbed the tower with a lot of people. He had the 13 warriors, plus the tower inhabitants like Quadrando and Luzlek, plus the families of the great warriors like Yian Yarde, or perhaps they do the test as a team, but not everyone in the team gets to pass. By the way, I think CU introduces rankers as parallels or foreshadows of the main characters. Like Bomb is similar to Yuan Sung, talented wave controller. He even learned Yuan Sung skills. Agro Agnes is like Libra Bro, a light bearer with great combat skills and electric quality. Agro Agnes is a Kun after all. I'm sure he'll pick that up in the future. It's just a crackpot theory, so I want someone's opinion on this. I'm not sure about the individual tests, but I do think that anything's possible. We don't know that much about Tower of God, to tell the truth. There's always new things being introduced, like we just got quality introduced, so I have no idea what the final floors test is going to be like. And I think for the last thing, it's kind of a usual thing for the student to have, or whatever character the student is, to somewhat resemble the character that's a mentor to them. They each have their differences, they're each totally unique, but Agro Agnes is similar to Libero, and Libero is the one that taught him to use a lighthouse in the first place. And Bomb is also similar to both of his teachers, Yuan Sung and Ha Jin Sung, both in different ways. All three of them are unique characters, but Bomb has similarities to the both of them. And then last comment this time around, Shadow Lugia 18011 says, I believe that the ranker Zahard's going to be on a completely different level than Dada Zahard. The techniques that Dada Zahard considers useful might be completely useless to the ranker Zahard. I think of Agro Agnes talking to Edwan, if you saw my father on the outside, you'd want to run away too. I agree with you to a point, that's definitely logical, but I think that Bomb fighting a weaker version of Zahard is still really, really important to the series, because he's getting experience against Zahard's basics. Even if Zahard has changed a lot of his fighting style as he got stronger climbing the tower, his natural weapon / natural Shinsu is still that same golden needle. So I think that it's a big step for Bomb now to do all this, and it's going to be important and come back up later when Bomb actually does meet or fight Zahard in the future. Zahard is not really going to know Bomb in a combat sense, but Bomb will have already fought a version of Zahard, a way weaker version. So I really, really like that, because it's going to be important when Bomb does fight the real Zahard a long time from now. So this is a big step in the series. But yeah, that's it. 45 minutes. Got through all of this. I guess I'm going to go through the outro really sort of quickly because my throat's starting to hurt. Like, if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me anything you thought about any of this or anything you want me to talk about next time around in 2 weeks' time. Subscribe for any of this. Much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. If you want to link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us there, just ask and I can give you a link. So that's it. Don't think I'm forgetting anything. So, hopefully I didn't. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.